Welcome back to Congo Children's Corner. I'm Butch.
And I'm Kim.
And I'm very, very excited about our next set of guests.
I am too. I'm learning new things, just preparing for them to come back. So I'm excited to hear more.
Absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit about the importance of early education. And we have some guests who are going to speak to that. And again, I don't want to take anything away from them. I'm going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about what they do and why they do it. How's everybody doing this evening?
Good.
Welcome. Hey. Yeah, excited. If you could just tell us a little bit about who you are, your name, and just what you do, please, your position.
My name is Becky Ryan. I'm the principal at the Christina Early Education Center. I've been in Christina for about 14 years. I was a special education teacher and instructional coach, and then moved into administration, and currently overseeing the preschool and loving every minute with the kiddos.
Where is the preschool?
So we have a building in Newark that houses about 30 classrooms, but then we also maintain a classroom or two in each of our city sites in Wilmington.
Okay.
I'm Jamie Herzenberg. I work as an education coordinator at the Christina Early Education Center. So I was a teacher, and then I was a teacher for about 6 years, and now I work with students and their families and the teachers as well. So kind of a different role, but still involved with kids.
So can you just expand on that just a little bit and tell us about that coordinator role, just in case people don't understand fully what that is?
Sure. So it's specifically for the ECAP program, which stands for Early Childhood Assistance Program. Okay. It's a program for 4-year-olds, all-day 4-year-olds, and we work with their families to set goals throughout the year and help to support the families as well as the students.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Karen Ruffino. I am a preschool special education teacher. I'm currently the 4-year-old teacher at Bancroft Elementary. I've been a teacher for 15 years, and I've done preschool as well as kindergarten, but mostly in preschool. And I'm enjoying myself learning about all my friends.
I'm Christine Brown. I have been working with children for over 10 years. I've taught everything from birth through 7th grade, with my favorite grades being 2nd grade and below. Currently I teach kindergarten at Bancroft Elementary.
Michelle Jenkins. I teach kindergarten to 2nd grade specialized behavior support. It's my 5th year. It's great.
And I'm Tiara Torres. I've been teaching for a little over 10 years as well. I teach kindergarten at Bancroft, and I just love working with kids.
All right, that's what I'm like.
How you get all these Bancroft?
That's what I'm wondering here.
No, but I'm interested. You know, there are a lot of grade levels, obviously, that you could have picked. Why this, this pre-K and this early education and this kindergarten? Because I know that they're different, and they obviously have different challenges and different needs. So, why did you guys select that?
I like preschool because there's a new experience in everything that we do. So the children are getting introduced to new things that they have never seen before, and I get to see the excitement that they have when they're learning something new, and it's something new and different for me every day, as well as whatever they're learning, I'm learning as well on how they're doing things and what they're excited about, and we just have lots of fun about what we're learning and playing.
Same for me. I feel like the younger kids are eager to learn, and they are just more willing to, take on whatever it is that you're giving them. They're just truly excited about school when they're younger.
I love laying the foundation, laying the expectations, rules with the love of learning. So to ignite that in kindergarten is beneficial, because then they'll want to learn. It's not like they get to 2nd, 3rd grade. It's not like pulling teeth. This is, okay, I learned all my letters in kindergarten. Okay, now I'm going to learn how to read. So I like the aha moments and the progression, but I really like laying that foundation of, this is how you put your book bag away. This is how you follow 2-step directions, 3-step directions. This is how you get along with your friends, how to problem solve. So I like setting the stage for that and letting the children grow.
And I think at the Early Childhood Center, I think that even before that foundation, they're little sponges, and so we just lay that foundation for them to go into kindergarten. Mm-hmm. So the social emotional, and how do we listen when others are talking, and how do we play together. Many of our students come to school not having experiences being with other children or knowing how to share those types of things, and so kind of setting that foundation even before they get to school that's what makes it fun for us every day.
So parents, so I happen to have a 4-year-old at home. So how do we prepare our 4-year-old to be able, because we're at home and they're the baby and they get everything at home, right? So they're the ruler of the house here. Now they have to come into a situation where we have to have new rules. You're not the ruler anymore. How do we make that preparation for our young people?
So I think any opportunity that you can to get them with other children where you can really set the stage for them to do socializing. Oftentimes we'll take them to museums and that sort of thing where they have to share, and we also hold many events at our school. So parents as teachers have family fun nights where families throughout the community are invited in to just bring the kids and play. It's a very, it's not organized, it's just come and play and kind of associate together. So anything like that, where you can get them into a situation where they can be together and kind of socialize with each other, is a great one. Jamie and another of the coordinators, team players at Seek, they hold some family fun nights or parent nights where the parents can come, and just what you're saying, they've held some parent workshops. They also just recently had Countdown to Kindergarten night, so she can tell you a little bit more about
Yeah, we
those
try to
events.
focus on some parent education as well. Like these guys were kind of saying, we sort of have them right from the beginning, so we try to make that a positive thing. And part of that is parent involvement and instilling in them that it's important to be involved in your child's education. So we run throughout the winter about 6 weeks of parenting groups or workshops, we call them, and they focus on a variety of different topics like building literacy at home and coping with stress and positive discipline. And we work with parents, and what's really nice is they start to work with each other. And then throughout different points of the year, like Becky said, we just finished Countdown to Kindergarten, which was all about how to get your kids ready to go, answer any questions that kind of may still be on their minds, things like that. So that's one of my favorite things to do. I love the parent workshops. I think that people really feel inspired, and it could be what we all think is something simple, and it kind of is life-changing to them. Like, oh, I never thought of that. Or, you can go through magazines and cut out pictures and then have them talk about what letter that picture starts with and what beginning sounds, and it really shocks them, and it's a great thing to be able to instill that preparation at home and understanding that it's a team effort, truly.
And so for me, you see so much. It seems like it's a lot of pressure to have your child do more and more by a certain age. Like, before we were happy if they could do things going into first grade. Now, pre-K, they have to know every letter and know all the sounds of the letters and all their numbers, and do they recognize this and that? People seem to ask.
There's a lot of pressure that parents feel to make sure their children are prepared for kindergarten, preschool. A lot of things that we do in preschool, again, or give the experiences to the children. Things that they might not do at home because it's not something that a parent did as a child. So we bring in all these fun activities, but every activity, there's a learning thing that they're doing. Again, they're learning turn taking, sharing, conversation, taking turns talking to a friend. Like Ms. Brown said, we're talking about routine directions, following 1- and 2-step directions. It looks like all we're doing is playing, but everything can be done through play, including learning their letters. We do a lot of games where you're playing with the letters, letter bingo, things that we've made ourselves, and the children are just enjoying it. They don't realize they're learning, and that's okay. They're learning, and they're prepared for what they need to know. Most of my children have learned all their letters this year because they like to play the games. But we create the environment to make it fun, and they participate in the environment because it is fun and they want to learn.
So we don't have to feel pressured as parents if our children don't know something,
No,
because they are going to get it.
We share ideas with families at home that what you can do. We talk about what we do and how else it can be followed up at home. What else, like taking a walk outside, looking at signs that you see on the street. What letter does it start with? Recognizing the shape of a stop sign and what letters are on the stop sign. Everything in your environment is something that you can learn. It's not a lot of pressure, it's a lot of fun. And the more fun you have with your child, the more they're going to learn as well.
So to the kindergarten teachers, if you're looking at some students obviously are involved in pre-K programs and they come into your kindergarten classrooms, and there's others who are not. How important do you think it is for families and for people out there to actually enroll their child into a pre-K program?
It's very important. The first few weeks of school, we do a kindergarten assessment, which is like a baseline, seeing what they know, how many letters they know, if they know any sounds. And there's a huge difference between a child coming in not knowing anything, and a child coming in knowing how to write their name, how to hold a pencil, how to use a pair of scissors, identify all of their colors. And a lot of people with young children seem to think like, oh, they'll just pick up on it, but it helps the process go a lot faster if they come in with the basics. So because I've worked at Christina Early Education Center, so when I was there, I saw 4-year-olds leaving that could blend sounds and can tell you, okay, this is an O makes the ah sound. That's a huge difference between somebody coming in and not knowing how to hold a pencil. Especially with the kindergarten curriculum now, I think a lot of parents, I know when I went to kindergarten, it was half day. And my mom had me in her 30s, so when kindergarten didn't even exist. So for those generations raising the generation now, they look at it as, oh, they're not learning much, or it's not a big deal. But in kindergarten now, you have to blend 3-letter sounds, and you need to know short vowels versus long vowels, and what sound does a TH make. If you come in knowing the basic letters, it makes that progression a lot easier, especially for us and especially for them, because at kindergarten they don't really know that they don't know something, but as they get older they know, okay, well, he's reading and I can't read. But if you go into a preschool program and you got 2 kids going into the same preschool program or a reputable preschool program, then they go into kindergarten and they're progressing pretty much at the same rate, give or take.
So are these preschool programs open to everyone?
So we have about 550 preschoolers in our program. 400 of those preschoolers are on site in Newark in our building, and there's about 100 up in the city of Wilmington, and the other 50 we serve out in the community. So those are students with special needs that we serve in the community. There are 3 types of children, I like to say. A large portion of our students are students with special needs, and so they have IEPs and we're serving them. There's also another portion of our children who are Title I or ECAP, as Jamie was mentioning. And these are students who are in our community, and there is a financial need. Their parents wouldn't be able to pay for preschool, but because of different funding streams that we have coming in, we're able to provide that for them. The last type of student is the typical tuition-paying student. And so while it's not free, it's also not quite as expensive as daycare or childcare. We're not in it to make a profit, but they do pay a tuition to come to our program. And be kind of a typical peer, which is very important. And they learn a lot, but our students with special needs learn a lot from them as well. So anybody can access our program. We're actually doing open enrollment now, and so applications are available, and we'd love for more people to take advantage.
And where are you located again?
We are in Newark. We're on Chestnut Hill Road. It's the Christina Early Education Center, 620 East Chestnut Hill Road in Newark, Delaware.
Okay.
So I know we talked a lot about pre-K and we talked a lot about kindergarten, so I didn't want to leave out Ms. Jenkins, who's sitting down there, because she has a different type of program that she's involved in. So I wanted to give her an opportunity to kind of just talk a little bit about your program and the things that you have to do with your students and how you help support your students in the classroom.
Okay. Well, I have kindergarten, first and second. So in order to differentiate just based on academics, I don't necessarily group them by grade level because they might not be on grade level. So based on skill for my centers, because I have a para who also helps me out, so that helps my centers flow nicely instead of them just being on their own. So just based on skill. But also for behavior, we do a lot of feeling comprehension type things where we talk about, how do we express our anger? Like, it's okay to feel angry, just you can't always show it how they usually know how to show it. What else did you want to say?
No, I just wanted to kind of share what the program is about. And the reason that I wanted her to talk about that is because she has a behavioral type of program. It's hard to believe, but students sometimes, even at those early ages, are having some difficulty working with each other. We talked about those peer interactions and talked about students being able to work well with, with the neighbor or with their friends, and some of them are unable to do that for whatever those reasons are. So our school and our district has programs that are centralized at specific schools that actually help support those students. So if they're having difficulty in their traditional programming, they get to come to a program like Ms. Jenkins has, and she actually gets to work with them, differentiate, work on their behaviors, and really just the goal is to get them back into the mainstream so that they can be supported and do well academically.
How long does someone usually in her program? Like, is it a whole semester or is it?
It depends.
So it's flexible depending on how?
Yes. Some students need it longer. Some students don't. I think I had a child who moved out after 1 year of being in my room. Now he's in regular education. But I've also had students that don't transition out until maybe a higher grade or middle school even. You know, it's just all depending on what they need.
So even while they're in that program, they're still prepared for that next grade
Right.
throughout
Absolutely.
whatever's going on.
They still,
That's really
they still
good.
access the grade level curriculum when they're still being exposed to everything that the students, I don't want to say normal students, but just regular,
Typical.
typical traditional students are exposed to. It's just that they're experiencing some challenges that they need that additional support.
Okay, great.
And I think I was just going to add, I think that exactly for that reason is why early education and intervention is so important. All the way, through kindergarten to keep going, because we really can. You were talking about, do we have to feel that academic pressure? And I think that the social emotional, and it's a hot topic around the country for preschool, but the social emotional piece is so important to get students at a very young age to learn to regulate their emotions and talk about their feelings. And it's okay to feel angry, but then what do I do with that anger? And so a preschool program of any sort, hopefully is honing in on those social emotional feelings and how to be prepared for school well before those academics, before the letters, before the scissors. If I can't play nice, if I can't listen and follow directions, the scissors don't even matter.
And I have a very important question, because as a lefty, I ran into these problems. So we've got a lot of left-handed things going on for everyone. My brother still writes a little off because I taught him to write. I was left-handed, he's right-handed, but he still holds his pen as I did.
You gonna call that man
And
out?
yeah, everybody who knows him is even, they kind of get confused. Is Trippy left-handed? But so, and that's real for me, because I'm a left-handed person teaching my children who are right-handed to write, so they're a little discombobulated sometimes, or would appear to be that way, for typical students coming in.
I mean, I think our teachers make all sorts of
Yeah.
accommodations throughout the day for any sort of need imaginable.
And you do have all of the left-handed, because there's no left-handed desks, there's no left-handed. I'm going to do all these things for lefties. I
think
go
they
in and see it.
They got rid of those desks now. They're just
Yeah.
Straight
across.
across.
Yeah.
So you let
With the
us
hook.
sit on the end. So,
And then they
'cause,
have
you know,
dual-handed
we
scissors. They have
got-
dual-handed scissors.
We did away with
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Come visit. See if it's up
Okay. We're gonna have to check this out. There are a lot of lefties out there.
But one thing that I do want to talk about is the importance of that parental involvement. I mean, you guys talked
Yes.
about parents a little bit. You touched on it just a little bit, but we find that a lot of the responsibility falls on the schools a lot of times, and I don't know that parents truly realize the importance of their involvement and their support. So, I mean, what can parents do to help support their students, especially at the early age? When you're talking.
I'm gonna speak
sorry.
for a parent in a second. As a parent, we need teachers to speak our language. We need an advocate who really understands. He's gonna get me later, but that's okay. Because you guys speak a whole new language. I went to a teacher meeting recently, and I'm like, I need a translator. So I think that it works hand in hand, because sometimes, and I thought to myself, I was there as the grandmother for my granddaughter, but had I not been there, her mother would not have spoken up and wouldn't have known what to do or how to make it work for this child. So I think that that's really important, that we, the parents, not feel intimidated by the language, by the fact that you guys are speaking in a way we don't know. Sometimes we may not be as articulate. I mean, there's so many things that may keep us from feeling like we really can participate.
I mean, I think that's why we try to do so many parent activities, because
Okay.
taking the language and the conversation out of it, if you just model how we do things and give them the multiple opportunities to see everything that's going on in the classrooms, I think just watching can really help. I mean, even at this last event, our Countdown to Kindergarten, we had one of our speech therapists read a book and model aloud, questions to ask throughout the story, and parents really pay attention. They'll
Yes.
film it on their phones, or they'll come up after, and it's just providing them that support to where it's not like, here's a list of things and how you do them. It's more like, just watch and get
Okay.
some new ideas.
Okay.
The other thing that I really encourage is the building relationships, because as a parent, grandparent, whatever, if you have a great relationship with that teacher, you're not going to be afraid to ask them a question or to say, you know, how did so-and-so do today, or what can I do at home? But it really is about communicating and therefore building relationships. Many of our teachers are using apps such as Class Dojo, where they can, within the app, sort of text. You know, we're of a different generation where we're technology and we've got our phones right there. And so it's all within the app, they're texting parents, and it's just opened the communication. And we do have parents who are really feeling comfortable going to the teachers and saying, he had a rough morning this morning, can you watch out? Or things like that. Or if you had a question about your grandchild, you could reach right out and ask those questions. So I think the communication is key as well.
And I must give my teacher a shout out, because she is the best, and she does do those wonderful things, and I do feel great for her. She is. She's like been my best teacher so far.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, she really is. Hi, Miss Coates, you are the best. So I agree with that, but I do know that I've felt, I guess because we get all those specialists. So you have those meetings, and suddenly you're there with so many letters. You might be the full alphabet around you. And so then you guys, you know, teachers and principals and everybody then start speaking kind of for themselves. And so, you know, just as parent advocate here, or needing a parent advocate, because again, honestly, we don't always really understand what's going on. We know what we need, but we don't know how to express it. So I'm like, I think and again, Ms. Coates is the best. My child gets special reading time and so much wonderful stuff. Really, she has doubled my sweetheart's math score in a year.
That's great.
Amazing, right? So that's why she's the best. But no, really, going in, just trying to understand how to ask for more homework, or how to ask, how do I get on this website and look this stuff up? And if I see they're not doing good, then how do I take the next step? You know, so there's so much out there, but you know, sometimes I'm not a Facebooker, so you get people who don't know all this technology and don't understand some things. And how do we make it work for our young student, you know, in pre-K with a lovely teacher like Ms. Coates?
I would say for parents to be there also academically, but to be there like just as emotional support. Because a kid as an adult, you might just say something like, she gets on my nerves. But then the kid be like, my mom said you get on her nerves. So it's like, just to like watch what you say about, you know, the people that are caring for your children 40 hours a week, as well as supporting their academic endeavors. I have a few parents that come to me, I didn't know how to do his homework. I'm like, okay, well, we'll do it together, or show that you can be an advocate, or show that you're human. Because, you know, sometimes parents will come in and say, well, I don't have a degree, but like they've already put a chasm between you. But if you can show that you're human, you know, I'm a parent, or I have nieces and nephews, or, you know, I care for children, we can make this work together.
Yes, I agree. And I love teachers like that. So we're pretty easy.
Ms. Coates.
That's right.
Let me know if you don't want her to come back to the school.
No, she's the best.
Nah, but I think it was very important for them to be able to come on to
Yes,
the show and really
I learned a
talk
lot.
to the audience just
Yes.
about, you know, what's important for their children. I think that everybody has their child's education and their overall well-being, you know, at the forefront.
Yes.
But they sometimes don't know how, or they don't feel comfortable, and they don't do those things that we know as educators and as advocates as best for our students. And we just want them to know that, you know, we are available, schools are open. 99% of the time, your kindergarten through second grade teachers are probably the most friendly, because they realize the age of the students. So we realize those are the primary grades, and we realize those are the ones that kind of set the tone for your child's education. So all parents that are out there watching and paying attention, you know, we're open for that. And just, you know, pick up the phone, text, Class Dojo. I mean, they're doing it all the time in the school. I don't know if I don't know if they text
We
their
get to see
friends.
pictures. No, we get to see pictures of the child throughout
Right.
the day in their centers doing their work. I love it.
So
We feel a part of what's going on. So I really do love the Class Dojo and the communications and the weekly notes. So I think a lot of what happens really helps you feel connected for those people who are working and sometimes feel like, I don't know what's going on. Should I be, you know, sometimes we can't be there as much as we would like to be. Right. And how do we still stay connected? And so I really do appreciate that.
absolutely.
Yep. And I think this has been great, because pre-K and you know, kindergarten really are the, as you said, lay the foundation for loving school and loving your teachers and knowing that everybody's good. Loving your principal. We know they love. I get to see them like in Principal Ingram, Principal Ingram. So I think it's all important.
Right.
So I thank you guys. Yeah, shout out.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming on too. Absolutely.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
And we'll be right back with more fun.